Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of PodClass. My name is Dunja Krasmanovic, and I'm a student at the Faculty of Music, University of Arts in Belgrade, Serbia. And I am so excited and glad to be one of the hosts of the PodClass, specifically the one by the Serbian leading team. Intune is an alliance, which is the only alliance in Europe in the field of music and arts, and it brings together a total of 8 universities, of which 3 are taking part in PodClass. We have the University of Arts, Norwegian Academy of Music, and National University of Music in Bucharest. Today, we will be joined by internationally acclaimed composer whose work explores new possibilities in sound and contemporary music practices. Her name is Professor Maja Bosnić. Born in Belgrade, the capital of Serbia, Maja Bosnić is a composer working across instrumental, electronic, and multimedia practices. She completed her PhD in composition at Goldsmiths University of London and is currently pursuing further doctoral research in transdisciplinary studies of contemporary arts and media. Her music has been presented at some of the world's most renowned contemporary music and arts festivals, including Warsaw Autumn, Darmstadt New Music Festival, CTM, Bang on a Can, Zagreb Music Biennale, and many others. Throughout her career, she has collaborated with leading international ensembles such as Klangforum Wien, Ensemble Mosaic, Riot Ensemble, and Black Page Orchestra. Such an inspiration and such a big portfolio. And driven by the idea that art can inspire critical thinking and social transformation, Maya's work often explores absurdity, participation, and also the unexpected. Her artistic practice blurs the boundaries between instruments, objects, performers, and audiences, inviting us to rethink what music can be and how we experience it. In this episode, we'll discuss contemporary composition, experimental music, the role of AI in music, artistic research, creativity, and also the role of art in today's world. Welcome to PodClass. So, good afternoon, Professor. Thank you for speaking with us today and welcome officially to the first episode of PodClass. I am so glad to be joined today by you and to talk about such exciting topics as the role of the digital tools in the world of a musician and how maybe artificial intelligence changes the future of a musician and how it can shape it for better or for worse, and also the topic of electronic music and also composition. So many exciting things to talk about here today. And we also have a situation where in this world nowadays everything is changing so fast due to the technology development and things are changing rapidly. And also this artificial intelligence is kind of takes a very important role when it comes to composing, for example. So I think I would start this conversation by asking what was your first experience with electronic music and media, and how did it change for you and influence your artistic path?
First of all, Dunya, thank you so much for inviting me to this talk. I'm honored,
It's
and
my pleasure.
it's also my huge pleasure to be accompanied by you and answer your questions. I honestly believe that young adults today who are interested in arts of any kind are unicorns to me. So and also being in a position where I get to transfer whatever I know to young generations is the biggest cause for anything in my life, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity. So to answer your question, the first exposure to electronic music, was that the
Yes,
question?
right.
Okay. I was exposed to electronic music even as a kid. My father was always very research orientated towards all sorts and genres of music, even though he's not a musician.
Mm-hmm.
But so I heard all sorts of interesting electronic works in my home, in my living room, even as a kid. But as a student, as a creator, I have to say I do not exactly remember. I of course I did listen to all electronic music done by our famous composers, such as Susan Hoffman, Zoran Eric, also worldly famous as Xenakis and
Mm.
Stockhausen are as an undergraduate student here in the library of the
Yes.
Faculty of Music. But I have to say that my first, let's say, elaborate electronic music works were done in London during my master's studies, where we had this collaboration with Trinity Laban College of Music and Movement Dance, and I had to work with master students of choreography, and I had to do two works for their final performance that they directed and choreographed. So I did two electronic works that were performed with dancers, and it was really wonderful.
Wow, amazing. So, can you tell us a little bit about how was your experience in London? For example, being a student from Serbia, going such a long way from home, meeting new musicians, getting new opportunities. Was it hard for you in the beginning?
Honestly, no. It was everything I ever wanted.
Wow.
Well, the thing is, it was a long time ago. It was in 2007. And just so that everybody has a kind of good perspective on the age, I think Facebook and YouTube were just started in 2008 or the end of 2007. So it was before you could have all these access to contemporary music online. And also when YouTube started, first 10 years were not with contemporary music, just funny videos or whatever. So why I'm saying this is because nowadays you can do all your research on contemporary music on YouTube, which is wonderful and amazing. There are channels that just do contemporary music with scores and everything. But back then, all I had was the library we have here, and very little black market internet resources that we could reach from here to download, I don't know, pieces from Sharino or Chelsea or whatnot. So at that time, I was just doing all this research into contemporary music, and I just felt cut off, that I could not even realize what's going on today and what can be done today. And I felt that was really wrong, because whatever profession you're doing and are enthusiastic about, I think it's natural to know exactly what happened until today, you know, to be in touch, to know what could be done. And I felt like I was I could not access what's going on today. And so I was dreaming of huge libraries and resources and cultural life with new and experimental music. So I sent applications to 3 universities in London. I mean, Germany was not an option because I never studied German language. So, and I was really fluent in English, so that was, I guess, the easy option. Also, practically, I knew that I would have to work to sustain myself wherever I go, and so I would really need language. And so, I thought going to a big city, it also gives you more job opportunities of all sorts of kinds. So I tried to apply to at 3 universities in London: City University, Trinity College, and Goldsmiths University. I got accepted everywhere, luckily, to all 3, but and even got a small scholarship from one of those, which is an amazing thing, because for composition you rarely get any scholarships, because I guess composers are not a good investment to universities.
Not true.
Not like performing stars, you know, like virtuoso performers on instruments.
So wrong.
Yeah. So, but in the end, I did my research. I realized that kind of Trinity College of Music had kind of a similar curricula as kind of we do here, which of course is not a bad thing. But at Goldsmiths University, they had a completely different world and completely different curricula. And it's also a place where experimental music publishing started with Cornelius Cardew and David Tudor. They were both based in 70s around Goldsmiths. And Goldsmiths is a famous art school. And and they have a lot of artsy alumni, even in pop culture, like Blur. They met at Goldsmiths while they were studying fine arts, and many other, like Vivienne Westwood, and I don't know, there's a lot of big names from Goldsmiths Art School. So but in composition, this master's course was completely different than all the others. And also, when I did my research, heads of the Department of Composition at City as well as at Trinity College were at the time doing their PhDs at Goldsmiths. So I thought, well, I may as well just go to Goldsmiths then. You never know. Maybe I'll do a PhD also afterwards, and then it's easier if I'm already their student than maybe transferring. I don't know. I was just, and also one more factor was that professor of composition at Goldsmiths, Roger Redgate, who was my professor, he was a student of Brian Ferneyhough, who is a famous new complexity composer with amazing and really renowned career, as well as pedagogic career as well. And at that time, when I was 21, I was listening to so much contemporary music, and I have to say that listening to Brian Ferneyhough was at that time so confusing, and I just couldn't understand it. And no matter all the scores I managed to download from somewhere and study, and I just was not sure what it actually was about. It was just this really hard music that is hardly performed as well. And so I thought, well, I'll be brave. I'll go straight to his student, and and I will understand, I guess. I will somehow be able to learn what it is about, because that's the first kind of genre I felt stuck, like not understanding. And so I thought, yeah, let's break this and then move on.
Let's learn
to
about it.
further movements and genres. So I decided to go to Goldsmiths, and I did, and I'm really happy I did, because the whole study was just very, very, very interesting and new. You don't study in regular, usual subjects. You actually have to study composition in small parts. For instance, you only study pitch and all the contemporary music works that do different treatments of pitch, as in frequency inside of music. Then you study time. Then you study measure, then you study rhythm, then you study notation. And so from these aspects, you take just one aspect, form, and then you go through all this body of contemporary music.
And tell us a little bit about, I want to talk about experimental music and what composition process looks like for you. Is it any different from when you were a student now? And do you still use the pen and paper method, or are you just like in this digital realm completely?
Great question. Well, anything goes in one one answer, but in general, my composition process revolves a lot around research, as in what kind of concept will I be working on during my next piece that's coming up, and kind of a system of elimination, what I know I will be using, what I know I won't be using this time. Also, I'm addicted to going astray. So I never walk the same path twice. And I really hope and I really try to open new paths for people around me or after me. So, which means I have to research all the paths that have been walked on, all the maps, everything that's already there, and try and see where I could find something that no one's already tried out or combined. I dream of things that I never heard. So every time I try to do something that I've never done before, and I cannot really find exact reference to this kind of thing. So it's always this excitement and adrenaline of what's going to happen in the end, and is it worth it? But I really need this in order to work, in order to be inspired, in order to stay up at night and work. So that's a big part of my composition process, just to finding a direction that is really thrilling and is really exciting and is new for me and hopefully the world.
So that's like the starting point.
That's the starting point. Yeah, finding the
great direction. And can you tell us a little bit about, for example, artificial intelligence? Do you find artificial intelligence important for your composition process? Do you use it or not?
Well, right now, nowadays, I do use it to speed up my research or to help me direct me in further directions where I should continue my research or move to my research on subjects or themes. As a tool, so yes, I use it as a research tool, but for instance, to create sounds, I just use, for instance, AI generator of speech to my text. It was just very interesting. You could I think it's Speechify or something like that, this AI. So you could assign any famous voice to just read your texts. So I did this piece where a very ancient Chinese ensemble was playing um, music by myself, and with that I combined famous YouTuber Mr. Beast reading Who Died That Year.
Wow.
So and that's how I actually used it. So you actually hear AI performing in that sense. But for all the others, I'm for the creativity work, I guess no, just using it as a tool. But I know that in pop music, it's a really really developed.
Would you allow your students to use AI?
Well, I don't know, there's a clever usage of it. So, for instance, it can speed you up or just shorten your time in not wasting time in researching things that have already been done or in places that are not the best to research them on. So, I think AI is crucial to be used as a literacy, as a digital literacy. However, just basically having AI do your work is it's just incomprehensible to me, because that's how I'm alive, by creating, by me playing, by me imagining things. So having someone else just do this imagination and play, also AI can just combine things they know. You know, it knows. It cannot really. It can just generate maybe combination that has not been so much used. But it cannot really come with this innovative, absurd, or weird situations, new paths that we want to walk on. So I cannot really imagine students really doing it in composition.
Yes.
Okay, for essays, as we know.
Yeah.
It's broadly used.
Yeah.
But in creative work, I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't think they would be interested in this either.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, also it's not human after all. Doesn't have this human creativity that we have. Also, I would like to speak a little bit about this great festival that we have here in Belgrade. It's called KoMa. That's like how do you say?
Well,
it's not the full name.
No, yeah, it's a short name
It's
for
a short name
Koncerti mladih autora.
Yeah.
So that means concerts of young authors, really.
Yeah, composers.
So KoMa, KoMa.
So can you tell us a little bit about why this festival is so important? And I mean, it existed for so many years, and now students really view it as an opportunity to show their work. So why is it really important for us in Belgrade?
Yes, KoMa is a very crucial and important festival, like you said, especially for student composers, but also for student performers, student conductors. It's a student festival, first of all, here at the Faculty of Music. And it programs a piece of each of the composition students that year, one of their pieces. So you kind of get this wonderful fair of all the works that have been done just recently by very young minds and creatives, and also have these pieces for the first time brought out in front of the audience, and also prepared and performed by their colleagues, their young fellow performers, students as well. And so there's this big emotional attachment that I personally have to this festival, but also just a fact that it's very important, and also very important for the showcase of young authors and their pieces, but also important for their studying and growing process of collaboration with musicians, conductors, and having a piece come to life.
I also think this, I mean, as a performer at KoMa a couple of times, I think it builds a really important connection with the composers. We are not really used to speaking with composers on their work and, you know, what do you think about this? Should I play it like this or like that? What did you have in mind? Also, you said something about to me about how this goes through the mind of a performer. It's not the same as like playing Beethoven or Mozart, or what do you think about this? Is it any different?
I think it's very different. I mean, first of all, composers are faced with this very stressful first encounter with a performer sometimes in this festival, and to them their whole imagination has been in their head up until then. And of course they did a very thorough study of the notation, proper notation, you know, they did their work, they did their study, but it's completely different thing when you have to let it go to somebody else's imagination and interpretation of whatever your musical text says. And no two people would interpret the same, you know, one note piano, you know. So that's first learning young composers to let go and to leave space for a person who's performing this to bring these little shades in their own way. That's also learning opportunity for them. Maybe next time they would notate something differently if they wanted. But more than anything, it's actually a learning opportunity just to talk, just to say, look, I actually imagined this. I'm not sure if it's written, but this is what I wanted. Do you think you could do it that way? Does it work for you? Can you see that happening? So the communication is so important, especially for new music where, you know, you do not have a classical form where, you know, you have a contrast or, you know, you need to, and it's a beautiful thing that you have a composer next to you that you can talk to and inspire them back for their next pieces, or bring something new for yourself in their piece.
Yeah, very special. And can you tell us, just like to close and the discussion, what advice would you give your students or students watching from abroad for maybe their future work, the music industry? Is there anything, like, if there was one sentence that you can say to everybody who's pursuing a music career, what would it be?
Just one? Okay.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Well, if it's just one, then you have to love the art you're decided to be inside, have to stay curious and actively informed and do your research all the time and support others in that art as well.
Yeah, great. Thank you for the advice. Thank you also for speaking with us today. We hope to see you maybe soon on some other episodes, other projects. This means the world to us to have such a
to me as well. Thank you so much.
Such a successful professor and composer. And
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Ta-ta.